because listen, you want to do something. Yes?
Yeah, I mean, the money is not getting there. GoFundMe is withholding.
But everybody understands what the limitations are.
Yeah.
What is it that you're requesting? Because there's a big difference. If I'm already telling you, the Al-Hijrah Islamic Center, what is our role? Our role is to provide religious education.
Yeah.
Our role is to provide religious services. Our role is to provide social services to the immediate local community. Our role is to advocate on behalf of the institution and the constituents of the institution. Yes? Does that make sense? We don't have an international role because what that requires now, it means that we'll have to hire or we'll need to allocate resources for an individual to now do that international advocacy. Does that make sense? So what we've decided is like we are not an international advocacy institution. That's not something that is outside of our scope, that's outside of our resources and outside of our ability. What can we do? We can leverage different institutions that are advocating.
Okay.
Right? So who are some of those international advocacy institutions that we partner with? We partner with American Muslims for Palestine. We will give them the minbar and we'll give them the space. We have no problem speaking on these issues. We have no problem even advocating for these issues, but speaking is not going to change anything, right? It allows people, and the reason I do it, if I'm being 100% honest with you, is because it gives people an emotional outlet. That's the reason. It's not me just saying something. It's not going to change anything, right?
True.
But when I say something, people feel like, okay, alhamdulillah, we're being heard and our voices are being expressed. This is why people go to protests, right? This is why people go to different things. But the actual work that's required for these spaces in order for us to bring change in what's happening in the international space is multifaceted and multi-layered. The reality is, and we're not recording yet, are we, Yusuf? بدأنا؟
Yeah.
بدأنا, okay, good. See, there's a shift and that's a ticket. The reality is like, okay, well, number one, who are the players in the spaces that you're trying to involve yourself in?
We want to talk to the Virginia representative.
What does the Virginia representative have to do with?
Let Congressman sit at.
So Congress, you have this is something that you can do. How many of you know that there was a special election yesterday? How many of you know what a special election is? How many of you know why there was a special election? We talk about advocacy in this space and in this masjid. How many of us are genuinely involved? Or how many of us are just upset? Being upset is not wrong, right? That shows that we have iman. It shows that we care for our brothers and sisters. But there are ways for us, and I'm not here to discourage anyone, please. That's not my goal at all. But we have to understand, okay, how do I leverage power? That's all this is. If I had to summarize change in any space, in any place, how do I leverage power? And we'll see some examples from the Prophet ﷺ on how he did that. But if I understand there are places to leverage power, right now, if I said, and let's use the Palestine issue as an example. Forget all the other examples, but we'll use that one as the immediate example. What leverage do the Palestinians have?
Palestinians in
this community or in general?
Even, the Palestinians as a whole, the entire Palestinian diaspora, which I think is between 5 and 8 million people, correct? There's like, if someone can correct me if I'm wrong, these are the numbers that I'm aware of, right? And I think between 2 to 3 of them are in Palestine. What leverage do they have against the Israelis?
well, because they
What leverage do they have for them?
there is no leverage.
So how do you, okay? So then if there is no leverage, then what do you do?
You express your concern so that they are
Sure. Listen, if someone is beating me down, if for example, I'm a big guy. I'm not a good example, but my daughter, right? My youngest daughter, she's like 10 years old, soaking wet. She's probably like 50 pounds, and someone who's 300 pounds, MMA specialist, is wailing on her and beating her. How much value does her protest have?
Surrender. Yeah.
Huh?
Surrender is. But surrender is. gotta fight until the last breath.
You have that choice.
Just in,
And I'll tell you the story. I'll tell you a story that we shared. I think yesterday we just shared the story. That you have the case of the family of Yasser. How many of you know Ali Yasser?
Yeah.
Yes.
The parents of
So you have Yasser and Sumayya, and you have their son Ammar. Yasser and Sumayya are being tortured. They know they're going to be killed. They know it. They're being beaten. They're being tortured. They're being stabbed at. Right? Like they're being treated as pieces of meat. And every time they're being stabbed and flogged and hit and beat and a bone is broken, they're being told to leave their religion and to curse the Prophet ﷺ, to curse their Lord. And how are they responding every time? They say, we refuse. We're not going to. Ammar, very young at this point, he sees what's happening to his parents. And they tell him the same thing. They say, leave your religion. And what does he do?
he does what
He does what they ask. He said, I leave my religion. He doesn't want to be put through that torture. He sees what's happening to his parents. He goes to the Prophet ﷺ and he says to the Rasulullah, Ya Rasulullah, this is what happened, this is what I said. And the Prophet ﷺ asked him, he said, how did you feel? He said, Qalbi mutma'in bil iman. He said that my heart is full of iman. And the Prophet ﷺ, then it's as such. Meaning that in a state of coercion, an overwhelming force, an overwhelming abuse, an overwhelming power, an individual has a choice to what?
survival.
There's nothing wrong with survival instincts coming in. Does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala command us for every single person to fight till the end?
No.
He doesn't. And if I'm in a situation where I have this overwhelming force, and there's no, this isn't a battle, right? It's not a situation where you have two armies meeting and somebody is running away, right? Haraba is not permissible, right? So haraba is an executable offense. Do you guys know haraba? Like no. So haraba is basically abandoning the battle lines, right? So if you're in the battle lines and the enemy's coming and you leave and you flee, this is an executable punishment. This is what is considered treacherous, right? This is a traitor's offense. That this individual has now left those battle lines. These people are not in a battle. There's no battle going on. It's just survival.
Yeah.
So now, again, the question is, if you're in a situation where you have no choice, what do you do?
I can express.
No problem. You express all day.
No.
And
It's an individual
Yeah.
cause.
yeah. But I'm telling you, all expression is in different spaces and places, and I'm not telling people to stop. So please, that's not the messaging that I'm putting out. That expression is fine. The problem that I have, that many times expression replaces dua, and dua is actually what's more powerful. Right? If I want to express, I need to express to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And for those people who are there, like for me, and I'm not saying this to put anybody down, it's very easy for me to tell the Palestinian, hey, 2,000 miles away, hey, go throw a rock at the Israeli tank. But it's easy for me to say that. And I'm sitting here in the air conditioning. I'm sitting here in the air conditioning, and I'm feeling thirsty, and I can just go get some water from the fridge over there. This guy probably hasn't eaten in a week. He probably hasn't drank water in like 2 or 3 days. And I'm telling him, go throw the rock at the tank and go sacrifice yourself. And I'm giving a thumbs up, good job. I want to, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying things because they're like hopeless situation, or I think it's really important for us to understand the ground reality of situations and what it is that we're actually doing and what it is that we're advocating for.
Maybe public opinion.
Public opinion has been against the Israelis for the past, I would say, at least 15 to 20 years.
In some cases, and in some correct.
In many cases.
Well, we have provided the bombs for the bombs.
Sure. So that shows the value of public opinion.
But we see Margaret Taylor Greene changing her opinion and moving
Sure.
everything from
Listen, amongst the Republicans, you have those who are splitting off from the party. those who are saying that, okay, hey, why are we involving ourselves in foreign wars? Why are we involving ourselves in the butchering of children? Why are we even supporting this country? This doesn't make any sense. A country that very much stands against American values. That's fine. How much value does her voice have? And I'm not saying this because those should stop, right? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I think we really need to analyze where is the actual power so we can leverage it.
What do you think is the actual power?
The actual power is in their numbers. That's the only thing they have. The only thing they have is their numbers.
The Palestinians.
The Palestinians. That's it. And if I, like I said, I'm in no position. I'm very removed from the conflict, right? So I don't know. The only thing that I'm willing to offer myself is like I can sponsor one, maybe two families as an individual. That's what I'm willing to do.
But they're not even
They
giving
won't
them
be able to
visas.
leave.
They're not even.
But that's what I'm willing to advocate for, right? You know what I mean? Like, I was like, okay, well, if I can save 10% of the people, I'm okay with that. Like, that's the value of the Muslim blood to me is more valuable than the land. Like, there was a time where we didn't have Beit al-Maqdis. There's a long time that where we didn't have it. It wasn't controlled by the Muslims. And what happened? Then Allah gave it back when it was time. It's to me. And this is part of a little bit of the confusion with the situation is like, okay, is this a religious issue or is it an ethnic issue or is it a land issue, right? Like that's a conversation that needs to happen too. Because to me, if it's a religious issue, the most valuable thing to me are the people. That, to me, as an individual, as a person. But you have people who might be like, no, I'm going to continue fighting for this land until the last drop. I don't care if I lose all my kids. I don't care if it's okay. There are a lot of layers to the conversation. I wish it was straightforward. I wish it was easy. I wish it was just a matter of like going and telling the president stop selling arms or stop doing this. It's like it's like people are like, oh, you know, well the Zionists, they've done this and the Israelis are so involved here and they're doing this. It's like, okay. And what? Like, how's that helping? How's that changing anything? How's that changing our mission? How's that changing our cause? Because the reality is that every ethnicity has their own problems and issues. Every ethnicity. You go to you go to Morocco, they still have a problem with the Sahrawiin, right? And this is something that they don't like talking about. You go to Algeria, the country is falling apart, right? You go to Libya, they're still trying to overcome the problem after the fall of Gaddafi. Egypt has gone through another revolution. The revolution was so bad, the president wants to move the city hundreds of miles away just so people cannot protest anymore. The only stable countries in the world, in the Muslim world, are the kingdoms. And their stability, a lot of it is because they're allowing for the instability of surrounding nations. I'm not saying, like, the idea is not to give up, right? That's not the idea at all. The question is, all right, what is my role in these spaces? What is it that I can do? I have my role as an individual. We have our roles in our families. We have our roles in our communities. We have our roles in societies. Sure, and the institutions exist. The institutions exist. This one is not it. I'm going to be very clear and honest. We are not an international advocacy institution. We do not have the resources. We do not have the time. We do not, like in the resources, we don't have the human resources and we don't have the financial resources. Do you guys know how much it costs to run this institution? It costs $5 million. $5 million a year to run this institution. And that is only providing the services that serve the community. And if you want to get into international advocacy, you're mm-hmm.
And
sure.
news article.
Listen, okay. Well, listen, who's stopping you? Who's stopping him? Who's stopping me?
Nobody's going to be.
I'm saying none of us is stopping us. And the question then comes is like, okay, you're saying no. Al-Hijrah needs to do it.
No,
right? I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you. But if we're saying, and if we're assuming, well, why isn't Al-Hijrah doing anything? I just explained. Al-Hijrah, the goal of the Al-Hijrah was never to be an international advocacy institution. It doesn't mean that we can't make statements, and we do.
Well,
Listen, I've put myself at risk multiple times as an individual, as a person. I've made the Times of Israel. memory has already quoted me 3 times. Like, you go look in the news and you'll find all negative news about me. So I've already put myself at risk. And my thing is like, okay, and what?
Exactly.
And what?
What happened?
All it's done is it's hurt our local alliances. That's what it's done. So now when it comes time to advocate to move for the traffic light, the 4 synagogues that used to work with us, they don't work anymore. I don't care, right? You know what I mean? Like, as an individual, as a person, I don't care. But did that help the institution? I don't know. That's a question that we can discuss. And now, okay, like now we want to purchase more land. Is it going to be as easy to convince the county if the county has a view that I'm an anti-Semitic person?
Right.
Israel
is not anti-Semitic. Yeah.
I am an anti-Semite. I don't care. Call me whatever, like, you know what I mean? Label me whatever you want. It doesn't make a difference to me. Listen, I'm a homophobe, I'm a transphobe, I'm an anti-Semite, I'm a racist, I'm a misogynist. Yes, all of the above. You know, a D, all of the above. I'm all of those things. Now what? But that's not the issue that I'm having. The issue is, all right, there are different relationships I have to leverage. What is the best way to balance them? I don't have the right answer. I don't. I wish I did. But there's so many different moving parts. I think it's very easy for me to get angry and upset and say, I need to do this, right? Without looking at all of the other wheels. And if anyone wants to get involved, I can connect you with the organizations that are doing this. And there are very radical, open organizations that, it's like, their job is to go and protest. They literally organize protests every single week. I can connect you with them. If you feel that this is something that's meaningful and something you want to take part of, okay, go ahead. I know people who go to the Hill every single week. I know people who get jailed every quarter because they're going and they're advocating. And if this is something you want to be a part of, okay, no problem. I can connect you with those people.
We know that there are others who are.
See, and the thing is, just because, and that's another thing, just because I don't see something as an individual, does it mean nothing is happening? Right? That's not a fair assumption of the community. If I'm upset, is it fair for me to think that I'm the only one that's upset?
No, you know that.
Right.
You're not the only.
I don't own the sadness of the ummah, right? Like, as an individual, as a person, and I don't think that's a fair viewpoint. I'm sad. I'm sad. Like, and other people are sad too, and other people are upset. Okay, let me take a look and see what other organizations are doing, and how they're contributing. And people are contributing in different ways. It might not be the way that I want to, but at the end of the day, listen, who's stopping me? Who's stopping you? Who's stopping Uthman? Who's stopping Nadia? Like, who's stopping anyone from getting up, like you said, opening your computer, writing an op-ed and submitting it to the New York Times, or submitting it to the Washington Post, or submitting it to the Baltimore Times, or submitting it to the local newspaper? Is anyone stopping any of us?
No.
Yeah.
No one would listen to me.
Okay.
But they might listen to an institution, to a group of
Not this
people.
one.
And
Sure. I'm saying, if that's something you feel that you're passionate about, like, as an institution, we're not going to stop anyone. And if you feel that, okay, hey, I need a platform to start doing this, everybody starts with a platform. Everybody starts somewhere, right?
we've had a couple of public protests.
Right, demonstrations.
Sure. And who organized those?
No, they were here when we got in the buses and went down.
Who organized them?
I think it was the
It was the American Muslims for Palestine,
American Muslims.
and they exist, and they're organizing. You know who didn't organize it? The Al-Hijrah Islamic Center. We have no problem hosting them. They're actually, we're one of their closest advocates and allies. So, again, it's important for every institution to understand. Now, can I go to AMP and be like, why don't you guys have a prayer space? Can I go to AMP and ask them, how come you guys don't have religious programming? Can I go to AMP and ask them, how come you guys don't have social services for your local community? Like, everybody has a role.
What is AM?
American Muslims for Palestine.
Okay.
Like, it's not being fair. Everybody has a scope, and like we have to respect that scope. And it's the same thing. Even if I came to your home and you're an electrician, can I come and be like, hey, how come? No, you need to learn how to fix my pipes. No, you need to understand legalese, and you need to help me with my immigration problems. Everybody has a role. Yeah, every individual has a role. Every institution has a role, and to expect that institution to go outside of that role because I'm upset or you're upset, it's like, yeah, we can be upset. That's fine. Like, again, this institution, I can say very specifically, is like, okay, no, you have people who have put their lives at risk. There are people who are still in jail who were part of this institution because they were connected to the Holy Land Foundation, which was one of the biggest international institutions that was funding the Palestinians. So to say that oh, Dar al-Hijrah hasn't had a role, or Dar al-Hijrah hasn't oh, they're not doing enough, or no, they're not doing this, and I'm not saying anybody's claiming that, but it's like, just go look at our history, look at the history of this institution. It's the one that's been the most attacked. Like it is the one that is labeled as anti-Zionist. It is the one that is labeled as anti-Semitic. It is the one that is labeled as anti-Israel. And go look at other masajid. Like the irony to me is very strong. That, and you do have people, like you have people in the community who say like, oh, Dar al-Hijrah doesn't do enough. And compared to who? like, bro, just go down the street. Go down the street. Like, listen, go do a survey of 5 masajid. I'm not even saying that big a deal. Go do a survey of 5 masajid and ask them what they're doing. Ask them if they had to deal with the amount of flack. Ask them if they had to get their bank accounts frozen. Ask them if the FBI had to come and raided them and took their computers. Ask them if they had people who were in jail for 10 years plus just because they talked to somebody. Ask them if they still have people in jail today in Guantanamo. Ask them. It's not an exemplary institution, right? Like by any means. Like there are shortcomings and there are things that can be improved. Like mashallah, the marketing for this class was obviously wonderful, but like so there are shortcomings. Like, and we understand that and we accept that. But I think the criticisms need to be very pointed and they need to be very appropriate. To when and where they're necessary. But may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq.
For listening to us.
Yeah, no, not a problem. I mean, that's our job.
Yeah.
To us.